cannot leave you, so it breaks my heart to go. Something tells me I am needed at the front to fight for the Poole. See the boys in blue are marching, and I can no longer stay. Once I hear the bugle calling, goodbye, darling, goodbye.
G'day guys, welcome to our part 4 of my ongoing series about the history of the Collingwood Football Club and their players through the VFL era and AFL obviously, but VFL obviously, very early days. We'll kick off the video today with an update on Tom Paterson. I wasn't satisfied at the end of the last video in not finding the history or whereabouts of Tom's hospital where he passed. I mentioned it was Bethesda Private Hospital and speculated it was in Perth, which made no sense to be honest, so I dug a little deeper. Here's what I found. Bethesda was located immediately beside Epworth Hospital in East Melbourne. Over time, the two institutions became closely linked, sharing facilities and medical services. By the late 20th century, Bethesda was struggling with aging facilities while Epworth was undergoing major development. Decline and closure. In the early 1980s, Bethesda was reportedly close to closure because of financial and infrastructure pressures. Eventually, Bethesda was absorbed into the wider Epworth organisation, and the Bethesda name disappeared as the site was redeveloped into the modern Epworth precinct. So yeah, just a little bit of a bow on that last conversation at part 3. So thank you. Charlie Pannam Sr. Charles Henry Pannam, born on the 2nd of October 1874 in Daylesford, was a winger and a forward, standing 173 centimetres tall. He was another product of the Collingwood Juniors. To put it simply, this man was a Collingwood champion. So I'm best to list off all his achievements first, then get into some finer details. VFA Premiership, 1896. VFL Premierships, 1902 and 1903. Collingwood Captain, 1905. VFL Leading Goal Kicker, 1905. Collingwood Life Member, 1907. Australian Football Hall of Fame, 1996. Collingwood Hall of Fame, 2006. 179 games for 111 goals. Also, the first VFL footballer to 100 games. Charlie's best skill was said to be his deadly accurate stab kicks, linking up plays along the wing, rarely wasting a disposal. Also being described as a dash of lightning down the wing, highly evasive and hard to tackle. He was also said to be rat cunning. Whenever the umpire wasn't looking, he would dip into his tool bag of tricks to try and get under the skin of his opponents. There is extensive coverage on all of Charlie's life. In the interest of time, I encourage anybody interested to study him further. A few little points I will include here is that he worked at the Yorkshire Brewery, which was located in Robert Street, Collingwood, for all his working life. The building actually, just to interject, is still there. It's a lovely old building, beautiful architecture. It's been turned into apartments. Anyways, such was his hype as a junior, he was forced with a decision to play for Collingwood or North Melbourne. Thankfully, he chose us, and after his time at Collingwood, he would move to then VFA team Richmond and help them enter the VFL the very next year. A couple years after that, returning to the Tigers to coach for a very short stint. His family lineage will be spoken about a lot in many future episodes. Charlie passed away on the 29th of October in 1952, aged 78 in Abbotsford. One of many obituaries reads, Pannam, on October 29, at his residence, Greenwood Street, Abbotsford, Charles Henry, dearly loved father of Charlie, Jr. that is, father-in-law of Mary, darling grandpa of Betty, great-grandpa of Glenda and Peter. Our dear father peacefully sleeping. He was buried at the Melbourne General Cemetery. Player number 14, Dick Poole. Isaac Richardson Poole was born on the 29th of July, 1872 in Brighton. Another graduate of the Collingwood Juniors. Little is known about Dick, unfortunately, only having played the one senior game against St Kilda in a 25-point win. It is known he played in the forward line that day, and that he stood 173 centimetres tall, and really, that's about it. The previous week before that St Kilda game, the juniors had played a scratch match against the VFL team. The assumption is he must have starred that day for the juniors and got a call up to the seniors. So, what is known of Dick? He married a woman called Margaret, then upon her death in 1912, he moved to Tatura and married a woman called Alice. He had 4 children. However, the trail goes cold there. Poole ended up passing away in Tatura on the 3rd of June 1939, aged 66. If anybody with more information about Dick would like to reach out, his story strikes me as fascinating and would love to fill in the blanks. Player number 15, Bill Proudfoot. William Henry Proudfoot, another titan of the Pies and a great story after, was born on the 11th of June, 1868 in Kilmore, Victoria. The fullback that stood at 184 centimetres and a ball of muscle at 102 kilograms would find his way to the Pies from Britannia. Now, this is the first mention of Britannia in this series. A little background information about them. They were a football team based out of Abbotsford in the heart of Collingwood from 1877, who would play out at Victoria Park, and also applied for licence in the VFA, however, were considered to be too disorganised to enter. Britannia ended up folding pretty much the same time the Collingwood Football Club was established, at the famous Grace Darling Hotel. The hotel is still there today in Collingwood. If you ever want to visit, you will be at the birthplace of the Collingwood Football Club 135 odd years ago. Bill would also be a part of that VFA flag before the transition to the VFL, playing 108 games. Club captain in 1898, 1899, a gap, and then 1901. Premiership player in 1902 and 1903, Collingwood Life member in 1902, and the Collingwood Hall of Fame in 2005. Wal Lee, a long-time trainer at the Pies, said this of Proudfoot. Proudfoot was a giant of a man, and when he played full back for us, he seemed to hide the goal space with his frame, and you just wondered how anybody could possibly get a goal through. He would have opponents bouncing off him like 9 pins. A strong mark and a long kick. For a little while, it was reported that he held the record for the longest drop kick, measured at 76.4 metres. A fearless policeman off the field, Bill was given a bravery award for stopping a pair of runaway horses down Swanston Street, saving many people being trotted on. After his career, he would be a long-serving sergeant at Clifton Hill Police Station, then own a pub out in Werribee. To be honest, Bill's story is that extensive, I cannot do it justice here in a short summation video. I encourage all to further research his life. Bill would pass away on the 11th of January 1931, aged 62, and be laid to rest at the Faulkner Cemetery. An obituary in the Age reads, Proudfoot, on the 11th January, at hospital, Richmond. William Henry Proudfoot, of Walls Hotel, Werribee, and late of the Victoria Police Force, dearly beloved husband of Evelyn Proudfoot, and loved father of Gordon Proudfoot. Peace, perfect peace. Thank you, everybody. That's the end of this video. As always, drop a comment, anything to add. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you.